I am with the one and only Jason, aka BitBender from Twitter. I'm very proud and privileged to be here with him in the Philippine Blockchain Week, and of course, a lot of quite interesting profiles here today in the Philippines Blockchain. But let's not further delay this because I love having the time of this guy is very special. So, Jason. Quite a busy guy. How's the Philippines Blockchain Week so far treating you?
I'm enjoying it. I think it's a fantastic event. The organizers have done a great job putting together something that is broad, it's international, but it still has a little bit of a Philippines flair to it. I
You
really
love
like it.
the drumming thing
Well,
earlier.
they're being quiet now, but for those of you who are listening right now, you may hear some amazing drumming taking place because they put there's like an interview room, right? There's a press room, and then behind the press room, there's an interview room. Immediately outside the interview room, there is an entire pile of drummers with all sorts of classical drums, native instruments and things like that. Super fun.
With a costume, right?
Yeah, they're like full costumes and headdresses and things like that. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazingly wonderful. This is the possibly worst place for it, like outside the interview room, but it's amazing.
So, Miranda, if you hear anything like drumming thing, that's just gonna be for them welcoming Jason, okay?
It's not about me. This is not about me. It's about all of you.
Hey, you can have the mic. So,
Okay.
talk to us about because obviously it's one of those questions today about this FTX thing, right? It's crazy news all over the crypto world. Talk to us about Gala. Of course, you're in the
Yeah.
Gala space. What has happened with Gala? How are you guys after this FTX? Were you even impacted in the first place? What have happened there?
I mean, we were impacted in the sense that the entire industry was impacted because, like, obviously it shakes the faith of a bunch of people who were in the space. A lot of people suffered. As a company, we were not exposed to it in any way, shape, or form. I feel really bad for a lot of the companies that were impacted that had, FTX and Alameda having like hundreds of millions of dollars worth of their tokens sort of on their balance sheet that are probably going to be liquidated now.
Okay.
It's going to
And
get
they're
ugly.
heavily invested there, right?
Oh, very,
Like,
very heavily.
If you open their balance sheets back to back to back, it's crazy.
Very rough. As far as I know, there aren't too many projects out there because FTX invested very far and wide. There aren't too many projects out there that are not impacted, and we are one of the few that I'm aware of.
Okay.
So we're doing fine in that regard. It is, of course, frustrating, and this is frustrating for me personally as well, because FTX was kind of seen as like the golden good actor in the space.
Yeah, they were like helping people on the bankruptcy during quarter number two.
Exactly.
After the Luna, blah blah blah.
Exactly. So they're seen in a very positive light originally, and to have all of this incredibly dark, awful stuff come out is really difficult. And for me, my battle has always been to show the world what blockchain can be and the positive potential of blockchain, and that's what we're about. That's what Gala's about. And so to have something like FTX blow up in the face of the entire world is very frustrating because people
Right.
get the wrong idea of what the space is actually about.
Right. So Jason, you spoke about the role in the space and obviously Gala in the space. Talk to us about what do you do in Gala today and what's keeping you interested with Gala?
So what do I do in Gala? So my technical job title internally is level 20 Barbarian Path of the Berserker.
Say that again one more time.
So Barbarian
Level
Path
20.
of the Berserker, level 20. This is a D&D reference. We go hard with the gaming.
Okay.
Our CEO, Eric, is a divination wizard.
Okay.
So it's we really go hard with gaming. What this means is that when there's a problem or something that needs to be fixed, I get pointed at it,
Okay.
and I have a tendency to face tank,
Okay.
which is where I just go straight in at the problem until it has
Like
been
you
destroyed.
troubleshoot.
Troubleshoot, crush things, break things. Sometimes it's got to happen. So that's what I do
Yeah,
at Gala.
Okay. Quite interesting, Miranda, right? I mean, you don't get that. We don't get it every day that someone very close to the ecosystem itself in Gala is actually here with us. So type number one, if you have any questions, I will try to read them here. Let's ask questions to Jason, aka BitBender, in Twitter. Hello, guys. So everyone, so Charles, Dusty, hello. Reno, hello everyone. Thanks for being here. Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah, and it's actually at BitBender Brink on
At
Twitter.
BitBender Brink.
At BitBender is some other dude. I have no idea who he is. He hasn't been active in like 12 years. I really want that handle.
All right. So you know, what makes Gala Games unique in this space today, and why do you think our audience in the Philippines right now, Twitter, Facebook, watching us live, why do you think they need to kind of start putting attention to Gala Games? What's kind of out there today?
One of the things that's really interesting, specifically about the Philippines, is that the Philippines has far greater Web3 penetration than a lot of different countries out there. And the reason for that is that people in the Philippines have begun entering the Web3 space primarily via gaming. Okay, which is very different from other countries. Now, this is important because gaming is probably the easiest way to enter the Web3 space. And then once you're there, you don't you don't want to have anything else to do with non-Web3 gaming. So for me, what I see as being the most interesting thing about the Philippines is that people in the Philippines are used to Web3 gaming. Okay? I use gigantic air quotes around gaming because there really hasn't been a lot of actual gaming in the Web3 space. There have been things that have been called games, but they're really not. They're
really.
Yeah. Now, what we do is we make games. Like, we make serious ass games. I mean, we make real stuff. I think if you go to look at Spider Tanks or Superior or Last Expedition, I mean, okay, so here, just for a point of reference here, Superior is a game produced by Drifter Entertainment. Drifter Entertainment is one of the best developers of like VR games out there, and they've created Superior, and that's a thing that is on Gala. Okay, you look at Last Expedition. Last Expedition, the team is headed up by Phil Wattenbarger. He's formerly running very, very serious roles in Halo Infinite and Call of Duty and things like that. So we're making real AAA Web3 games. And this is something that I think is super, super, super important because it's not something that exists out there really in any great sense.
Everyone can create games, right? I mean,
Right.
everyone can just create their games and kind of market it and say it's going to be AAA, but there's really this AAA game.
These are actual games that are playable today. This isn't like a thing that's happening in years. This is stuff that's playable and live right now. So check it out. And so that's one of the things that I think makes Gala well suited for the Philippines. I think the other thing that makes us well suited for the Philippines is that we have an extremely strong sense of community inside Gala. If you join our Discord at galagames.chat, you can jump in there and see just a wonderful range of people from all over the world who are all passionate.
Okay.
Yeah, or all passionate about playing. That's just a shortened link, so you don't have to have the Discord code and all of that. But it's a wonderful community, and everywhere that I have been in the Philippines, it's about community. You know,
That's very true.
Family is part of it, and family, and then extended family, and then like your village grouping of people. You know, everybody works together, and that's something that I think is super unique and very different from what you see in the West.
Yeah. And that's kind of interesting, Miranda, because, you know, in this very big crowd of VIPs on day one, and I was here, and I saw this guy, and he was like from Goga, and I was like, this is Jason BitBender. I was like, okay, so I need to approach him, and I did, and he's very warm in the sense that, you know, he's very friendly, even if he's famous already. he's down to earth, right? So you can just approach him and just, I was like, you know.
I am very snuggly.
And he traveled Vancouver to Manila. You can imagine that. This is so, like 15 hours.
It was a 14 and a half hour
14 and a
flight through some of the worst turbulence I have experienced in my life. I flew Philippines Airlines. They
Yes.
did a fantastic job.
But mid-air is like,
No, it was rough. Like people were like bouncing off ceilings and stuff.
Seriously.
It was the worst turbulence I have ever been in
I
on a flight.
experienced turbulence this time of the year. I know it can get crazy. I even recorded it, mind you. I
Yeah,
recorded while it's like turbulence, right? And I was planning to show it to the community, but I just don't want to scare them.
don't want to scare
to
anybody.
travel.
Well, it was this bad. Like normally when you fly at about 38,000, 40,000 feet, right? The jet stream was so intense at that height that they flew at about 30,000 feet.
Okay.
Which meant that they were flying through the weather instead of over the weather.
Yeah, over the weather,
It's
which is
very
you guys in
intense.
the middle
Yeah.
of that crazy wind there.
We need to have Cheska pilot next time.
Anyways, let me just check. Okay, guys, if you have questions, let me know. Right?
Yeah, go ahead, ask whatever you guys want. The only things I won't talk about are token price predictions. Don't do that. But anything else you guys want to know
That's my
about
last
Gala?
question for you.
That's the last question. Oh,
What's the price? But earlier or yesterday and earlier today, there's this Miranda who asked me the question, Coach, is there hope?
is there hope?
Is there hope?
Is there
in
hope?
Gala, guys? Well,
Okay.
maybe in fairness with Gala, right? I think it's guys, the entire community right now. And you guys know this. My opinion is, in the entire community right now, everyone is in a wait and see for the most part of the community. Everyone's waiting for the right time, etc. Right? Earlier, there was a technical breakout for Bitcoin. Bitcoin pumped to almost $17,000 today, which is a technical resistance. There's a couple of FAs, right? But for me, I mean, not to kind of throw a wet blanket there. Guys, we need to wait and see. But I'm curious to hear from the man himself. Is there hope in Gala?
So here's what I won't do: is I won't tell you specifically about tokens.
Sure.
What I will talk about is I can talk quite a bit about the market in general.
Sure.
Okay. I think that we're about out of this bear. I feel like it's almost done. I feel like everyone who was going to capitulate has pretty much capitulated, and I think that pretty soon institutions are going to start putting money back in. I saw a very interesting statistic just the other day that said right now there is a record high for the number or the amount of Bitcoin in the most wallets.
Yes.
So, which is very interesting because this,
All-time high.
yeah, this
All-time
means
high.
that there's a whole bunch of people out there who just got little bits of Bitcoin and they're all holding on to it. And so a lot of that institutional money has gone out and it's going to do what institutional money does and go back in because now it sees an
So
opportunity,
you're
right?
saying potentially some retailers are kind of putting wallets now and kind of putting small Bitcoins here
I-
and there.
Well, no, I think retail and investors. Yeah, I think that's what's happening with Bitcoin. But I think that the institutional side of things. I mean, these are organizations, very large organizations
Yeah.
that live
The
on
market makers.
live on the pump, right?
Yeah.
I think that you're going to see a lot of that starting to flood back in, and I think that it's we're at a point where everyone who's building is still building. Okay. What's very unique and very interesting about this bear market is I've been traveling nonstop, basically. Okay.
And in your travel, sorry to interrupt. In
Yeah.
your travel, you saw people still there, right? I mean,
Oh, people are there. You go to these events, and I heard about one event that my friend Wendy went to that was like empty in like Las Vegas or something like that. I don't know what it was, but I've been to events I went to Binance Blockchain Week in Paris. I spoke at UDC in Busan. I was at World Knowledge Forum in Seoul. I mean, I've been all over the place at all of these events, and all of them are completely packed with people who are building, and they don't give a shit about whether or not it's a bear or a bull market. This is the way that we are. We are going to build regardless.
So build.
Build. I mean, it's CZ has like his buildle
Yes.
buildle thing. I know that's not how you say that.
Biddle.
Bwiddle. It's
Biddle.
really difficult to pronounce. Anyway, that thing. That's what it is about, though. It's about realizing that the industry that we're in is an industry that is not going anywhere. It's going to stay, and all that you have to do is get through the other side. And I think that with FTX and all of that, it's very much a situation of the night is darkest before the dawn. And I think we're gonna push through.
Yeah.
I mean, as an industry, we're gonna push through. At Gala, we're obviously pushing through. We're still building. We're still shipping games. We're still making stuff. That's not changing. So is there hope? Yes.
And I agree with that, Miranda. You guys always hear me, and it's good that someone obviously reinforces that thought process, right? So, I know you're very busy, Jason. So maybe last two questions for you.
Sure. I could take a little bit more time. We can take some from the community too if they have some questions.
One
Seriously.
question that I can see here, if I could see it, is I hope they can bring back the daily earnings on Gala Games.
For Townstar. So this is actually a thing that is happening here quite soon. If you haven't been following what's happening with Townstar, I'll just give you a little bit of a history lesson. It's time for ancient history. The original economy for Town in Townstar was not ideal. It had some problems, and obviously we had to fix those problems. Recently in Gala Gold, we released the initial white paper for Townstar.
Okay.
Right now, the Townstar team, okay, headed up by Mark Skaggs. I don't know if you're familiar with Mark Skaggs, but Mark Skaggs is literally the guy that invented Farmville. He's the guy that runs Townstar now. Okay.
Who's he from Zynga?
Oh yeah, he's from Zynga.
Yeah.
He's from Zynga. Like Mark Skaggs, the guy that got the game
Mark from
development
Zynga.
of the world, the Game Developer of the Year award.
Zynga.
So he is the one who's building the new version of Townstar. Okay. We've completely switched to a different engine. Okay. So the old Townstar, okay, was a client authoritative model, which meant that your computer was the one that would decide what was true and false in the game.
Okay.
And then it would report that back to the central server, and the central server would, check it, but it was kind of difficult because you might lose connection here and there and whatnot. The new version is a Godot version. Okay, and it is server authoritative, which means that when you had your town before and you always had to keep it open and it was a pain and your phone would overheat and it was super difficult and all of that, you don't have that anymore. It's all server authoritative, which means that it's running on one central server now. Okay, and so you can get in there and start, playing, and your town will still be there when you come back. And
Gotcha.
what matters with this, and what the concept of the daily earning, right, is that economy for town has now been turned around, okay, so that it is now a deflationary currency. And the emission that happens in any given day is based on the amount of town that is spent within the Townstar world, minus a bit. So it's going to continue to decrease until it gets to about 100 million, and then it's going to sort of hang out there. That's kind of the idea. It's an about, not exactly.
Okay. So that's a question from Bernie. Bernie, did we answer your question? Thanks for that question. Okay. As per the new WP, TC can be earned by next year.
Correct.
Correct?
Yeah.
All right. So
It should be fairly early in the year too, not like Q4 or anything like that.
As for Bernie, I have investments on Gala I'm still holding, he said. Is Gala a good investment? I know you don't want to answer that question. Or? No comment about the market.
No comment about the market. No comment about whether or not
it's a good investment.
It is a good investment as a token. What I will tell you is that as a company and as a team and as a community, we are growing and building all the time.
Which everyone is, maybe except those that are not affected by FTX today. But
yeah, there are people who are going to get really screwed by FTX in the future, but or by the liquidation process. But yeah.
Okay, guys, ask questions if you have any. We have the right person to ask to answer your questions on Gala. I think okay. Welcome to the Philippines, Sir Jason. I'm afraid to invest in play-to-earn games anymore, especially if I saw Vietnamese developers. I tried more than a dozen of play-to-earn, but they are all gone now.
That's because most of them weren't real games. Like, that's really the problem that you run into with this. if you,
What are the signs that they're not a real game?
well, okay, so here's the question. Would you play it if I wasn't paying you?
No.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a specific game that was very popular in the Philippines. It's a 3v3 fish battler, basically.
Okay.
And it was extremely popular. But there isn't a person that I have ever met
That's
who has
playing
said that they would play that
If
game
they're not being paid.
if they weren't being paid. No one's going to be like, oh, this is so fun. Doesn't happen.
So when you enter the market, the go-to-market strategy is just for them to enjoy the game first.
Make an amazing game. If
Yeah.
you make an
Make them
amazing
love the
game,
game.
people will come. Okay?
Okay.
Now, when you look at the concept of play and earn, right? What you need to not do is look at it from the perspective of I'm going to play this game for 20 minutes and I'm going to get just money flying out of the sky at me.
Okay.
That's not supposed to happen. That's not a sustainable economy. What you need to think is, okay, this is an awesomely fun game. I'm having a lot of fun playing it. Millions of other people are going to have fun playing it. Okay? And make that your key point.
Okay.
And then if you
you
have-
need to fall in love with the game first.
Exactly. And if you have that, right, and you get something while playing, that's great.
It's a bonus.
It's a huge bonus.
Yeah.
And but it shouldn't, like, this whole like money token hose thing that a lot of games have done in the past, it's not sustainable. And as much as I hate to say this, I think that with a lot of these quote unquote games that you've seen in the past, most of those are just the same thing that we saw with the ICO craze in 2016, 2017, where it's like somebody creates a white paper,
Yes, everyone
they
follows.
go, download some stock photos, they stick those stock photos on a website, and then they sell a bunch of crap tokens, and then they disappear. I think that you've seen that many, many times with games.
Even for games, yeah, exactly.
Of course. I mean, we've even had situations where people have tried to copy what we're doing with something like that, where they'll take basically our ecosystem. They'll go to like
design.
iStock photos and they'll get a bunch of
And just put it in
vector
a-
images, put it
in a
there.
white paper as if they're
Exactly.
legit, right?
And
Interesting.
so you see that all the time. And so what you need to do is you need to find a community. You need to find people who are there, who have experience, and who work day to day, like constantly. Like we've got almost 400 people in our company. Okay? And those people are each pulling like at probably a minimum 12-hour days working. We work hard.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what you're looking for, not
Yeah.
like some random white paper like get rich quick
Someone
bullshit.
is asking here, is Spider Tank going to be good? I'm sure you're going to be saying, good, of course. Spider Tank. you said.
Spider tanks. I personally love spider tanks. I think that there's some changes that need to be made. I would like to see a deeper meta get put into spider tanks. But the game itself, crazy fun. Like super fun. And you don't have to buy anything to play. You can go in for free and you can use somebody else's tank, okay? And the way that they do this is you just go into the garage, and then there's a little checkbox at the top that says pilot. If you click on that, it will automatically give you a random tank from another user that person has put in the piloting program. And then when you play, you have the ability to potentially earn something through your play. You have to win, okay? Which weirdly is a strange concept in the concept of play to earn, the concept that you have to actually win. People are like, "What? I have to win?"
You earn.
Yeah. So if you win and you're using somebody else's tank, you can potentially earn something. And sometimes it's a very little bit if they have a very common tank. But there are people who put like level 30 perfect ancient tanks in
They
there.
don't even win, but they win.
Well, if they no, they don't win for sure. But if you have a good player and you have a good tank and you win, it can
The
it
one
can be
who
good.
lent the tank also gets something.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a split. I don't recall the percentage,
Okay.
but I think it might be
Um,
50-50, but I could be wrong.
Townstar is good, and it's getting harder without NFTs. Good thing we collected some epic NFTs. It's hard to rank and get a legendary NFT today, as per Bernie.
It is getting more difficult. There's more people that are starting to play, But there's also going to be multiple game modes in the new one. There's going to be a competition game mode, and there's going to be sort of a forever game mode too.
Is it a long-term vision to really attract like the hardcore gamers here?
For Townstar?
Yeah.
Townstar is
And even for Spider Tank.
for Spider Tanks, absolutely. For Superior and Last Expedition and Miranda's, absolutely. Townstar appeals to a certain type of player.
Okay.
It is not my type of game. I don't have the patience for it. But it's definitely a certain type of gamer that really enjoys it.
Okay.
So if you like puzzles and factory setup, like Factorio, if you're a big fan of Factorio, you can absolutely geek out on Townstar. They'll have things like, oh well, you have to rotate your silo 90 degrees and it's going to speed up your town by 8 seconds. It's crazy stuff.
All right. Prongs. Tried Spider Tanks. Sarap laruin means happy playing it. Gala is a builder company. Welcome, Sir Jason.
Thank you.
I think this is a good question from Mark, right? And maybe this is gonna be like maybe one of our few last questions here.
Sure.
He's saying, what can you tell us more about future collaborations with other projects? I mean, we spoke about FTX. Good that you guys are not impacted by it.
Right.
Any other collaborations in the future?
Yes, absolutely. So this is one of the things that that is really interesting, kind of about the space that we're in right now, and where we are in this space. Over the past couple years, it's been very difficult to figure out who the good projects are. Okay, because just so much smoke and mirrors.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
The good thing about a bear market, okay, and this is not a phrase you hear very often, right? The good thing about a bear market. But the good thing about a bear market is it is a cleaning mechanism. The projects that can't hack it are gone.
Yeah.
They're collapsing left and right.
Right.
And the projects that are still building and shipping stuff are now rising to the top. So
And
you
they're
can
still
see,
building.
and they're still building and they're still shipping. And that's something that you don't see. If you're in a crazy bull market where everything is successful, it's difficult to pick who to partner with. If you're in a bear market and you're like, oh damn, this company knows what they're doing and they're actually building and they're still here
on a bear market, exactly.
then those are the ones you partner with. So yes, we are definitely looking to partner with a lot more people, and I personally want to make much larger inroads into the rest of the Web3 space. I know that a lot of people, and if there are people from our Discord listening right now, I know there are quite a few people that feel that we don't play enough with the rest of the community, and that's something I want to change. So we're partnering with a lot of different people coming up into the
go out there and play and get to experience the gameplay,
Correct.
etc. Right. All right. Let me just check if there's any other. I salute you. Thank you. Okay. Good comments about you. Saying hello to you, Jason. All right. Some of the questions are about just investments. All right. Welcome to the Philippines. All right. Welcoming in. All right. Hey, it's been a pleasure having you in
Thank
our
you.
channel. Maybe invite them to follow you in Twitter and
Yeah, sure.
other social media spaces.
Go ahead. Important people to follow here is at BitBender Brink, okay, and then go ahead and follow at Go Gala Games as well. And take a look at some of what we got going on there. Specifically, take a look at Superior, take a look at Spider Tanks, take a look at Last Expedition, and know, and this is also a big important thing for the Philippines, know that one of our main focuses for the coming year is things that ship on mobile.
Okay.
So there's going to be a lot more mobile games that are coming.
Not
So,
just Android, but
no-
also iOS.
Yeah.
Quite interesting.
So, yeah.
It could be a big one. Something to look forward to.
Some alpha for you guys.
Yeah.
Just for you guys. Just for your community. Don't
Good
tell
to
anyone.
know. Good to know. Gala and mobile. All right. It's been a pleasure having you, sir.
Thank
And
you so much.
Thank you. And we'll definitely follow you. And, I'm a follower in Twitter. You know that. And thank you for the education you're giving to the community. I think we need personalities like you guys in the community who's really building during these times of the bear market. And to your point, the good thing in a bear market, which is kind of an oxymoron placed in one sentence, right? Is that, and the theme in this event today is, you're right. people who have weak hands, so to speak, will just go out.
Yeah.
And just let it go. But people who have trust in the utility and trusts the ecosystem and see the value of it, I think will be the one who's going to be staying.
Yeah.
And you were there in the Paris convention. That was the theme in the Paris convention with Vitalik, the Ethereum guys, right? They were like people that are. That was the month where the dive was just. I mean, just happened, right?
Yeah, it's getting rough.
Yeah, it's getting rough, and everyone was saying people who's going to be staying are the ones that are worthy to be trusted, and I think that's you, Jason, and thank you for being with us in our channel, and thank you very much.
I appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Miranda. More to come today, more interviews, and we will see you again. Follow Jason in his Twitter account and go Gala Games as well. Thank you, guys. Have a good rest of the day. Thank you. Salam. But by the way, one more.
Yes.
Do you know a Tagalog word already?
Tagalog word already. Mabuhay.
Mabuhay. Okay.
I
What
know
else?
That's it. Sorry.
Okay. I will.
I know what sisig is.
Sisig. Oh, you know what sisig is?
I know what sisig is.
It's. I love sisig.
Well, why do you guys describe it as a pig's face? Why can't you just say pork? Just say pork. It's pork on rice. Why do you? I don't need to know it's the face. That's not necessary.
No, it kind of adds more.
No, it doesn't.
No, but because you're in the Philippines and you're just kind of a bit personal here, right?
Sure.
Me asking questions about travel. You guys know I'm a well-traveled guy as well. If you're in the Philippines, you gotta try balut.
No, hard no.
Number one is
Hard pass.
balut, guys.
Hard pass.
No,
I'm
but
sorry.
You've heard about it, yeah?
So somebody was like, "Oh, you have to try." I was actually, I think I was hanging out with Myrtle Sorosa.
Myrtle, okay.
Wonderful, wonderful person. I was hanging out with her, and she's like, "Oh," and also somebody else was like, "You have to try." That's when I had sisig. I had pig's ear thing, which I thought was
Was it sizzling?
Yeah, it was like sizzling slices of pig ear.
Yeah.
Which I feel, again, if you just say this is crispy pork, I'm fine. I don't need to know it's an ear. Okay, and then somebody else is like, "Oh, you need to try like 1 day old chick." I'm like, "What? No."
Myrtle said that.
No, not Myrtle. It wasn't Myrtle. It was somebody else.
So-
but it was
so
somebody that was with us.
1 day old chick.
Yeah, it's like they.
Unhatched egg.
Well, there's the balut.
Oh, the one that's already out of
The one that's
shell.
already out, and I'm like, that sounds terrible. Why would you? No.
They would fry the whole thing.
Okay, no.
1 day, gets out of the shell, fry it, and just put it in a boiling oil. Just get it, and then you eat it. It's like crispy thing. And I've not tried it.
That sounds awful.
Like
sounds terrible.
You eat everything like inside whatever is
that sounds terrible. I will try many things, but I will not try balut. I won't try that. I do the pig ear thing. I do the sisig thing. I feel that there's a branding discussion that should be had surrounding the way that Filipinos discuss what their food is. Because you're just so remarkably candid about what it is.
Yeah.
It's like, what is this? This is a pig's face. Oh, okay. Not like pork on rice. It's not pork on rice with a nice seasoning. It's a pig's face, which is just like a whole.
It's like a very candid, direct way to say, you know what? It's a pig's face.
It's a pig's face. There it is.
All right. Hey, nice to talk to you, my friend.
You guys are amazing. Thank you so much.
Welcome to the Philippines, and keep on building, Jason.
Not going anywhere, man. Looking forward to it.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Thanks to the viewers. I'll talk to you again. More